The Beatles wrote this song just to troll their fans. Although some of the nonsense in there isn't actually nonsense. More on that in a bit. It all started with a letter. In 1967, John Lennon received a letter from a fan who attended his old school. In that letter, the fan revealed that his class had been analysing the lyrics to Beatles songs in their English literature lessons, and John Lennon thought this was hilarious and loved the idea of fans searching for meanings in songs that weren't actually there. The boy even received a handwritten reply, which was later sold at auction in 1992. Now, the search for hidden meanings wasn't unique to that school. Fans all over the world, even to this day, have been trying to read between the lines of the band's lyrics and music, and have come up with a lot of different theories, many of which are nonsense. Paul's dead. Now, John Lennon had a crafty idea from all of this. He decided he wanted to troll Beatles fans by writing a ridiculous song with silly, nonsensical lyrics in the hope that they would then sit down and try to find a deeper meaning. Although I should mention, of course, the meaning of the word troll didn't really exist back then, so I guess he was just pranking them. Anyway, he began the writing process for one of the most nonsensical, ridiculous, and silly songs ever written, I Am The Walrus. If you have somehow never heard this song before, or never stopped to really think about the lyrics, the opening verse will give you a clue as to just how insane it is.
I am he as you are me, and we are all together. See how they run like pigs from a gun, see how they fly. I'm crying.
Yeah, and it just gets weirder from there. You can tell Lennon had a lot of fun with these lyrics. They are full of obscure references, mental imagery, the whole shebang. Large parts of the song were written while Lennon was on acid, and you can really tell. Even the music video, which was part of the Magical Mystery Tour film, plays into its obscurity, with lots of psychedelic vibes and questionable outfits. So, as expected, when I Am The Walrus was released as part of the Magical Mystery Tour album, fans flocked to try and work out what it all meant, despite it meaning nothing. According to an old school friend of his, John Lennon said, "Let the f***ers work this one out." But there is more to this story than that, and the song isn't completely meaningless. He claimed that this line did have some genuine inspiration. You'd be right to feel confused because it does seem like total nonsense, but at the time it was written, a 16th century branch of Hinduism was gaining traction all over the world, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or informally, Hare Krishna. Part of it was putting down Hare Krishna. All these people were going on about Hare Krishna, Allen Ginsberg in particular. The reference to Elementary Penguin is the elementary naive attitude of going around chanting Hare Krishna, or putting all your faith in any one idol. I was writing obscurely, a la Dylan, in those days. Ironically, not long after this, George Harrison would become a Hare Krishna convert. One of the chants on his hit My Sweet Lord is of course Hare Krishna, and he remained a Hindu until his death. Lennon, on the other hand, while not an atheist, remained pretty critical of organised religion in general until his death in 1980. He felt that any organised religion was bound to become corrupt and political somehow. His song Imagine touches on that.
Imagine there's no heaven.
By the way, I should mention I can only play tiny amounts of music in these videos because of YouTube's copyright robots, but over on my Patreon page I upload versions of all my videos with much more of the music in them. If you fancy it, it's patreon.com/musicmongoose. So, I Am The Walrus, also excited fans, referencing one of their other songs, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
See how they fly like Lucy in the sky, see how they run.
And as you can imagine, this intertextuality sent fans crazy. Suddenly they were looking at other songs to try and unlock the meaning in I Am The Walrus, exactly as Lennon wanted. The song also includes lines from the play King Lear by Shakespeare, which at the time was being broadcast on the radio, and it has no real relevance to the song itself. except maybe as a way to further confuse fans. Huge thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. If you're an independent artist, this is for you. DistroKid is the easiest way to distribute your music to all the major streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. You get unlimited music uploads for a low yearly price, and you keep 100% of your royalties. DistroKid doesn't take any commission. That is an awesome thing for artists. This company really wants to put artists first, as it absolutely should be, and that's why I'm so proud to be working with them. I just wish there was more of that in the music industry. It's super fast to upload too. Your music goes live on streaming services quicker than any other distributor. It's already trusted by millions of artists worldwide as well. Sign up to DistroKid using my link in the video description and start sharing your music with the world today. And what about the walrus himself? Why a walrus and not, I don't know, a giraffe? The walrus comes from The Walrus and the Carpenter. To me, it was a beautiful poem. It never dawned on me that Lewis Carroll was commenting on the capitalist system. I never went into that bit about what he really meant, like people are doing with the Beatles' work. Later, I went back and looked at it and realised that the walrus was the bad guy in the story, and the carpenter was the good guy. I thought, oh shit, I picked the wrong guy. But that wouldn't have been the same, would it? I am the carpenter. So again, what appears at first to be nonsense is actually a bit grounded in reality. Oh, and speaking of the walrus character, by the way, a year later, the Beatles released the Lennon-written Glass Onion, and in it is this line. The walrus was Paul. Another brilliant jab at the scholars trying to decode Beatles songs. Now, the melody of the song apparently came completely separately. Hunter Davis was writing a biography of the Beatles at the time. I remember being at John's house in Weybridge, and we were swimming round the pool, and several streets away you could hear a police siren, and John started humming and playing with those two notes. He actually got that on the piano, and they had a go at that later that evening. He said it would be a basis for a song, but there was no need to develop it now. And this tune would later become I Am The Walrus. And Hunter used this example to make the point that Lennon often had bits of songs that he would write and then later assign it to an overall track. There were hundreds of sound bites and lyrical ideas that he had ready to go at any given moment. Now, the story behind I Am The Walrus isn't all fun and games. Just before the band went into the studio to record this song, they got some devastating news. Brian Epstein, their manager, and the man often referred to as the fifth Beatle, had been found dead in his home at just 32 years old. He had died of an accidental overdose, and this news shook the band to their core. The Beatles had been on a retreat in Wales at the time, but decided to pack up and return to the recording process for the Magical Mystery Tour album following the news. Paul McCartney was worried that if they didn't get back to the studio ASAP, they would simply lose that creative spark that Epstein seemed to give him, and the others agreed. So a few days later, the band went into the studio to record I Am The Walrus, which would become the first Beatles song recorded without the guidance of Epstein. And to be honest, the silliness of this song probably helped to lift their moods after losing their friend. I mean, it can't have been easy to get back in the studio after such devastating news. According to engineer Geoff Emerick, when Lennon first played the song for everyone, there was an air of confusion. That one was called I Am The Walrus, John said. So, what do you think? George Martin looked flummoxed. For once, he was at a loss for words. Well, John, to be honest, I have only one question. What the hell do you expect me to do with that? Probably not the reaction Lennon was hoping for, but they did soon get on board. I mean, they must have been used to Lennon's sense of humour at this point, right? Now, John apparently told Geoff Emerick that he wanted his vocals to sound like he was on the moon. So Emerick overloaded the console's mic preamps in order to get that effect. And it worked. And I have no idea how Geoff Emerick knew what Lennon wanted by saying, I want to sound like I'm on the moon. But he did it. Fair play to him. Now, this song was eventually released at the end of 1967 as part of the Magical Mystery Tour album. And the reaction to this song was mixed. Many fans loved the track, praising how experimental and fun it was, but others felt it was too surreal. The BBC, unsurprisingly, actually banned the song due to some of its lyrics, but it got lots of play on other radio stations and did become a hit. And we'll never know if that boy who sent the original letter to Lennon ever managed to analyse I Am The Walrus. I like to think he did. I Am The Walrus was probably a very fun song to record in the studio, but it definitely wasn't the most fun of all the Beatles songs to record. That title goes to a different song. You can watch this one next to find out which one.